3, 2, 1. Hey everyone, you're watching another episode of Ash on Comics. My name is Ash, and it's the In and Out Weekly Comics pull list where I can't draw a straight line. Oh boy. Number 20. 20 episodes so far of season 2, essentially, of the pull list when I started numbering them. Started doing that in 2019. I don't even know how many episodes I did of this in 2018. Maybe I should go back and count them up. But here we have the number ones from Marvel this week. Only 2. It is a rare day to get only 2 new number 1 issues. Now, there are like a handful of number 1 True Believer books that they do. I don't count those. But look, War of the Realms, every week, has had a new number 1. How many weeks now is War of the Realms? I can't even keep track. But here's another War of the Realms. War of the Realms, New Agents of Atlas, number 1. People told me this wasn't going to happen. Oh, no, Ash, you're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. There's just going to be War of the Realms, and there's going to be spin-off books. And I said, no. There's going to be seven separate War of the Realms miniseries, in addition to the spin-off books, totaling for 79 issues by my count. 79 total issues you'll need to buy to get this whole flippin' story, which by all accounts so far is only about 5% as good as Infinity Gauntlet. So, but here you go. The guy, one of the guys, just a shopper at the store, was like, "You got to buy this. You got to buy this. It's selling out everywhere. It introduces 4 new characters," which I have done in one of them. No, I haven't done a video on this, but I read some previews or something. Yeah, I was just reading the Diamonds previews. This is an all-new, all-Asian team of characters. So, talk about diversity, right? Just pure Asian. It's just, diversity is such a lie at Marvel and most left-wing places. So this is all Asian team, and they're going to introduce all these new Asian super characters. So they kind of appeal most, I guess, to Korea and China and stuff. Because they're against bigotry and pro-diversity, except in the markets where they're appealing to bigotry and anti-diversity. No, this is such a hypocritical book. Anyways, you gotta get 4 new characters. These characters are gonna suck. No one's gonna care about them. This is a bad speculator book in my opinion. And of course, like I always say, it wouldn't be a week if there was not a new Star Wars number 1. Marvel and Disney is gonna milk this property to death. They're picking the bones clean, and then they're going to devour the bones. They're destroying this property. It used to be something special. Now it is even less special than Star Trek. Somehow they managed to do that. And also Age of Rebellion, because everyone wants their Boba Fett. I was looking at the cover, and it has a picture of Boba Fett, presumably like his a headshot, but it's not even Boba Fett's mask. So it's some other mask that he wore. I don't know what they're doing. But look, it's only going to cost you $8 this week. Only $8. It's a minimal investment. You can make that in 4 equal payments of $9.99 and get your 2 number 1 comics that are for sure to be worthwhile investments. All right, I spent way too long on doing these. I just love to rant and get it all out. As always, my weekly unboxing of my favorite thing on Wednesdays on my pull list. I pull a burger from In and Out, and oh man, they were busy today. Holy cow, and I got there early. I've been usually getting there around noon, and there's like 15 cars in the drive-thru. This one, it's not the prettiest they've done. They let me down a little bit, but what matters is the taste. All right, that's done. That was a good burger. Out the old, in with the new. Oh, look at this. War of the Realms. In case you didn't understand, the biggest event in Marvel Comics history Remember when Marvel said, what was it, CB Cebulski was like, we're not having any big events. What did they call this whole thing? It wasn't Rebirth that they were doing. It was like, I forget what they were calling it. Like something new, like they were doing it like, no big events for 18 months. So they're trying to pretend this is an event, 79 issues. That's so stupid. Here's a spoiler alert. There's my receipts. $44. I don't spend any money on comics. I definitely don't contribute at all to this industry. The pros at Marvel and DC and everywhere, they definitely shouldn't listen to me at all because I'm just a, whatever. They lie. It sucks that we live in a society full of so many liars. All right, to start things off, it came out on a Wednesday, aptly named book. Doesn't really have an exciting name. It's an anthology book. I normally am not into anthology books. I'm normally not into monster horror type stuff. But I am into Alterna, maybe the best publisher in the business right now. They are small, very small time, small press. But Peter Simeti, who is the head and the owner of Alterna Comics, is one of the greatest guys in the industry. He's inspiring. I barely know the guy, and I love him. So I want to support Alterna Comics, and this is something cool. For $1.99, are you out of your mind? It's like a double-sized issue. That's why it's not $1.50. Speaking of $1.50, Exilium. Yeah. And I want to just point out about this book. One thing I was prejudiced about Alterna Comics in the beginning, and I didn't jump on the bandwagon earlier, because I was like, small press, they're going to be cheap, it's going to be bad art, bad stories, right? It's going to be minor league teams. And it is, for the most part. You're not going to be getting top tier talent, right? You're not seeing like Ethan Van Sciver drawing for Alterna. Or whoever your favorite artist is. You're not going to see, Donnie Cates writing for Alterna. You're not going to get the big guys. But the people that are Alterna are very passionate about comics. They love this hobby. And they are better than many of the people that, like, say, Marvel, who just picks up and says, you have a Tumblr account and you can do something. Well, here, write for peanuts. And they just produce trash. This is better than a Marvel comic. And this isn't the best cover that had, but this is what the art looks like inside. Like, yeah, for $1, let me reiterate this. Don't look at this as, this sucks. Look at this as, here's a company who's trying to give you comics for a value. They're not trying to rip you off with $4 issues where the ink runs off on your hands. Dun, dun, dun! It's Flash! Oh, man. I like getting these full art covers. I'm big on that. I really hesitated because this, my friends, if you aren't a Flash person, I can understand. I really can. And you're like, where do I want to check it out. Where do I jump in? Right here, number 70. This is what the normal cover looks like. This is why I was hesitant to get. This is year one. Remember, once upon a time, Frank Miller wrote this little comic called Batman Year One? No, I'm not suggesting this is going to be that good. However, Joshua Williamson is one of the best writers in the industry right now. He's writing Flash, and maybe you're just like, I don't know if I want to jump in. And I can understand, Flash is probably not easy to jump in. There's this whole mini microverse of Flash with all his family and it's confusing. But this is perfect to jump in. I don't know how many issues it is. I think it's either 5 or 6. I recommend getting this. I'm going to do a review on this book. I haven't done reviews on Flash before because I myself am like, I'm going to start at number 1 and wade through it. But I actually am going to jump right to here because I don't need to catch up to get to this story. This is the first story. So here's where you start. And if If it doesn't hold your interest after the story, think of it like a miniseries. Pick this up like a miniseries. And I'm so glad, thank you, DC, that you didn't do Flash Year One as a miniseries #1 and buy it. Like, this is the way it should be. Stories to just appear in the ongoing title, and you can label it up top. So, big supporter of that. Move the needle. This is what we want. And speaking of what we want, this is Justice League. Gosh, you know what? I got this thingamabobber, and I'm not even using it. Bear with me here as I correct myself and don't do what I always mock Zach for not doing and pausing the video and just like, you have to live with these edits. They're edit free. All right, that's a little better. You can see, sorry for the glare. I don't have the light. I just have like natural lighting right now, and it's an overcast day, so I could turn the lights on, but they're can lights that come straight down, and it's all, so you know how it goes. So, but you can see, and you can see my phone because it has a white cover, so it's really reflective. Wah, wah. I fail in all parts. That's Justice League Odyssey #9. This is Red Hood Outlaw 34. As you can see, I keep loving these full art covers. They don't really do justice by looking at them through the camera like this. There's Penguin. I'm behind on Red Hood. I'm not happy with Red Hood Outlaw, but I was invested in Red Hood and the Outlaws, so I didn't drop it. Probably, I don't know if I should have. It's not like the book's gone bad to my knowledge. I just sort of like lost interest, and then I just got too behind, and once I got behind, I became overwhelmed. And so here is Detective Comics 1003, and I'm kind of wishing I wasn't going with the alternate covers on these because they have not been spectacular, and I do really like the main covers. So I just wish they would just do one cover so I wouldn't have to have buyer's remorse like this. And then, this week, we've been waiting for a long time. This was supposed to originally come out in January, but it's finally here. This is Brian Hill's book. They gave him his own book. Brian Hill got a Batman book of his own. Now that is what we call moving on up. If you don't know who Brian Hill is, well, you should. He introduced this story in Detective Comics. That's where I started buying Detective Comics. You can see my reviews. I was only going to originally just buy his run, which was like 5 issues. That 5-issue arc ends into the prelude of this, where it's going to launch the book, where the book was supposed to come out in January and then didn't. Then James Robinson had like a 5 or 6 issue arc leading up to Tomasi taking over as a permanent writer. We waited for a long time. I really liked Brian Hill's work on this. He's got a certain style about how he writes Batman, and the thing I like best is his voice for Batman. To me, he just understands how Batman talks, and when I read it, I'm just like, oh man, it's great. And it's a fun storyline, and yeah, he's only getting better. So I think a lot of people are going to pick this up because it's a #1, and hopefully the quality will sell itself. Speaking of Batman, here's more Batman, because DC stands for Detective Comics after all. So I guess why not have tons of Batman? Batman Laughs. I really love this cover. This is a case where I like getting the alternate covers of it because it's just twisted and sadistic, and I don't care about necessarily the trade dress. It's a mini series. And this is a 7-issue series. I have not read it. I'm going to binge them. And then finally, last, but certainly not least, Aquaman Did I say Aquaman? Man, do I fail. Let's try that again. Take 2. Certainly last but not least, Hawkman, #12. Hashtag read Hawkman. I'm trying to promote it. You can use that hashtag too. Please use that hashtag. Please promote this book. I was at the comic book store today. I got there 10 minutes after it opened. There were 3 of these on the shelf. And not because this is the super hot selling book. I talked to the manager, and she was like, I was like, you gotta sell more of these books. She's like, oh, we saw a decent amount of these. And she's like, I think I ordered like 20. I was like, there's no way. I was like, if you order 20, they're all going to subscribers, and they're hitting their pull list. She's like, no, I think only about 9 go to. I was like, you're telling me you had 11 books and 8 of them sold out in the first 10 minutes? If that's the case, then you need to be ordering more and let them sit on the shelf for the 2 months that they sit on the wall. People need to buy these books. You need to promote them. I can tell that the staff is not reading this book because they're promoting other things like Batman. No fault to the staff. They're nice people. They don't know. And this is such a good book. I am going to review it. I'm going to promote it. I'm putting extra emphasis on this book because it needs it. There's no marketing in comics these days. So the only way comics really move is either through some sort of gimmick with a hot character, right? So we get the Batman Who Laughs, or we're going to do this Absolute Carnage. Those things will sell because fans are like, oh, you're doing something special with Spider-Man? I'm going to get it. But when it's just something normal and it's not gimmicky or whatever, there's no way. DC is not saying anything about Hawkman. They don't even put in their own books like, hey, try Hawkman, the best comic. Nothing. So it's up to us as fans to word of mouth and say, hey, if you tried this book, this really is one of the top books that's out there. You will really enjoy it. It's really well done. I understand. Look, I did not like this. I thought this guy looked kooky and stupid. Look, it's a guy with wings and a mace and blah, blah, blah. Dumb. It's not. It's so much more. So, word of mouth, try this out, and then spread it. Be enthusiastic. These comics die because they don't get enough support, and then we complain that there's not good comics, and then we don't support the comics when they're there. So, anyways, rant over. Save the best for last, as always. I kind of lied. It wasn't last. It kind of was last, but I was at the store. You all know that Free Comic Book Day was last week. I did a poll. Well, it was Saturday, actually. It wasn't only last week. I did a video on it, a haul video you can watch. And I actually there was a book that I was like, I really wish I would have picked up. And I don't know why. I'm not into this book at all. But I know a lot of people are. We're talking about it when the main book came out. And I went to 2 different shops, and I was trying to get more stuff, and I was like, I couldn't find it. So I went to the store today, and I was like, hey, do you guys have extra, free comics left over from that thing? And they're like, oh yeah. But anyway, so I asked them. Long story short, they were able to find it, so I picked this up. Now, I don't know squat about the Goon, but I know when his book recently just came out, where people were like, oh, the Goon. And I was like, I don't know why you're going to call me like I don't know what you're going to call me, but I saw the Pug guy and I was like, oh, that looks awesome. I want to know who this dude is. But I also know that this is the draw. So I was like, okay, Grumble, presumably that's Grumble. I'm all over this. And this is something that is not part of the main thing, which makes it an interesting potential collectible. And maybe it'll sell me on the Goon, right? That's what Free Comic Book Day is supposed to do. And I wasn't going to just go buy the Goon comic because people were like, oh, yay, I have no idea what this is. And it doesn't look necessarily appealing. But I try to always have an open mind. So thank you, my comic store, Comics and Stuff, for giving me the Goon. If they ever stumble across this video, they're going to know exactly who I am. So I've just doxed myself. But no, they're cool peeps. And here are the books. Which do you think is going to be the best? Well, you know what my pick is. And which do you think is going to be the worst? It's a tough pick this week. Tough pick. I don't know. I don't think I can pick one. But anyways, thank you for getting this far. Thank you for watching my videos. Please comment below. I love to read comments, hear ideas, feedback of all sort. Like, subscribe. Make sure you're still subscribed. Smash the bell. I don't know what you're supposed to do. But you guys know what you're supposed to do. And I will see you on the flip side. Thanks for watching. Wait a minute. How could I forget? I lied again. I'm sorry. Sort of lied. Best comic, I did say for last, but there is something else I almost forgot. That's not a comic, so that's how I technically avoid saying I lied. But it is best. And I normally do not buy Pop figures, but I make an exception occasionally. I own 4 Pop figures. I own Ash. I own Jane from Firefly and his that's the special episode of was it the Hero of Canton in his gear. I have 2 others that I'm not recalling right now, but they're special when I get Pops when there's something special meaning to me. And so this week a new Pop came out that I knew was coming out. I didn't know it was going to hit today, and it's special to me. So I pulled the trigger. I was like, this I have to own, and it's the special Stan Lee Pop. So I don't necessarily think Pops are stupid. I don't understand why people buy like walls of these and collect them like to the extent that they do and put them in their own special cases. I think to me that's kind of silly. It kind of reminds me of the Beanie Baby fad. But I mean, get what you like. But if you want to collect Pops, do it. I just get a one here and there because for number one, I don't want a wall of Pops. And number two, the ones that I do have are that much more special to me. So I'm going to put this phone down. I'm going to open it up and get a better look at them. All right, here we go. Stan the Man. Perfect little Pop. I like what they did with him, and they made it this sort of faux copper, with the ionization. I believe that's what it is, the ionization that gives it the green. It just makes it look like a little mini, copper statue, and it's just plastic. But I could see them doing a regular one as well. I might be convinced to get that one. Stan is a very special person in my life. Never met the guy, unfortunately, but he's special into what he contributed. And you look at these comics, and almost all of them are DC, which Stan had very little. He did some little things at DC, but he was a Marvel guy, obviously, true and true. But even DC owes so much to Stan. The entire industry, because of Stan. The reason I'm a Comicsgate supporter is because of Stan. Not because he told me to be one or anything, but the values that he presented in comics and everything is what Comicsgate is about. And that's what we fight for, and it's being lost. He himself has never attributed that. I would want to attribute that to him. But it is the motivation of people like myself who are supporters of Comicsgate. And, may he rest in peace. Maybe we never forget Stan. He meant a lot. And I never did a video about it, like when he passed, unfortunately. And I don't really know what to say. I'm kind of babbling here, but he's the kind of person I really would have loved to have met, and sat down with a cup of coffee and just had talked to. There's very few celebrities that I think like that about. I'm very much anti-celebrity. I don't think just because you're famous it makes you anything special. But some people are famous because they are special, and Stan was one of those people. So here it is. If you're like me and you're not a Pop person, this might be one that you might consider picking up as an exception to the rule. He's going to go good on my desk. He might accompany me in my review videos, and hopefully he'll constantly keep me remembering what it's like to be a true believer and to always have the right priorities in comics and in life. So there you go. Thanks, Stan. You're missed. Excelsior.